And to lose a final like this, having played so well up to a certain point, is going to be very hard to take. But he's the sort of guy who will take it if he loses. But look at Agassi. I mean, he's, you know, he's jumping jack, isn't he? He's steaming for the winning post now.
Just looking at Todd Martin's record in 5-setters, he's played 7 of his 23 career 5-setters here at the US Open, and he's posted a 5-2 win-loss record in those matches. My word, he's really got to find some extra gear here. A breakdown, love 3 down in the 5th set. He's played magnificently as Martin. Some of his ground shots during the last hour have been of the very highest caliber.
The extraordinary thing is he hasn't managed to break Agassi. Agassi's not serving nearly as well as him. He's been returning well. I don't see where the statistics cannot sort of go a bit in poor Todd Martin's favour and say, come on, you've broken him, really. But you haven't.
If he doesn't make it, I'm not saying he won't, if he doesn't, I don't think he's blown it. I think Agassi's grabbed it. He's doing everything right in this service game. And that's what he's got to do. He's got to hold his service games with real authority. And then he's got to have a crack at Agassi. Because it would be completely out of character for Agassi to give it away. Look at his eyes. Love game to Martin. So far so good for him. 3-1 Agassi.
It's only a single break of serve, you know. The thing is far from over as far as Martin is concerned. He's got a tough battle on, and he knows it, and he reacted very well in that service game.
Got to be positive, has Todd Martin, particularly on Agassi's service. He's got to attack the serve. He's got to take chances. He's got to be aggressive.
It's an awfully good serve, 111 miles an hour, but going diagonally, which is not a true reading. If that had been going straight, it might have been his fastest.
Can we look bothered? he didn't quite time that. That's right, call. We couldn't hear the call because the crowd are being noisy. Agassi still sprinting around the court. And he's got a lead of 4-1. It'll be difficult to stop now.
Everything he's doing is done with urgency. That final volley of Todd Martin's then, Agassi almost ran into it. He was so quick to get off the court and start running to his chair. He wanted to show Todd Martin, look at me, I'm doing a 100-mile-an-hour sprint to my chair. Perhaps you'll see that. Here he goes, and he runs past it, straight into his seat. He looks full of fitness. What a character. I'm thinking of poor Todd Martin, who has now jolly nearly spent a day on court in the singles. Jerry, I know it's a bit short, but he's been on court 13, 14, around a little bit over 17 hours playing singles during this fortnight. Well, that's 7 matches, 17 hours on court, nearly a day on court. Come on.
Yeah, and when you consider that one of the American television stations, and it was a good idea, actually gave a diagram one day of all the ailments that Martin's had over the last, what, 2 or 3 weeks.
I think it was all during this tournament, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it was practically every bit of his body was suffering from something or other.
Yeah.
It's been a thoroughly manful performance.
Pretty heroic.
Martin, whether he wins or lose, he's played a lot better than most of us thought he would. There's the prize. And for both of them, I suspect, I know for Martin, because I asked him, this is the one they want most. Wimbledon's wonderful. But as Todd Martin said, with no disrespect to the other Grand Slams, I'd like to win this in front of my own people, my own international championship.
Well, if he loses, he's put on a pretty heroic attempt. That was quite tricky. Agassi hasn't had the best of luck with the net courts, and yet Todd Martin has had a double net court.
I think Martin's doing the right thing, but there's an element of death or glory about it.
Seeing it again, I feel he was just a little bit slow to go there. Almost seemed to take his racket back without lunging. He must feel a bit tired. He must do. And he looks it. Still called lawn tennis on the cups, isn't it?
Yes, even though the Americans dug up the grass here, what was it, about 15 years ago, was it, or more than that? I mean, here in New York, not here at Flushing Meadow. It's always been on this surface since they moved here from about, what's it, 5 miles away from Forest Hills, but even there they'd played on clay for a couple of years.
Yep.
Now, this is a ragged sequence of points here.
30.
One for 30 all fifth set. All about mental and physical stamina at this point. 3¼ hours now. line. 4-2. Agassi in the lead in the fifth set.
Agassi leads 4-2.
That really was a remarkable volley, that final shot. Sort of spooned it over, broke most of the rules in the book. See what he thinks about it. But it went in, Todd. Be positive. Or did he hurt his arm?
That sort of swung at the last minute. I think it was a very slight mishit.
I think so too.
And not a murmur out of him. I mean, that, if that was out, it was just about out by a cigarette paper's width.
He's hitting right to the limit of the courts again.
Well, he's been unfortunate. You can't say he hasn't gone for it.
Wonderful picture of the moon.
Not a love game to Agassi, and his lead builds now to 5-2. And it's difficult to believe he's not going to win again.
Yes, it is difficult to believe, but he still is only a single break of serve down. But the physical sort of, the body language of the two would certainly indicate that Agassi is, I've got a feeling that he might have strained his arm. I mean, you're right, we saw a picture of his body with all the arrows pointing to where he's got ailments or injuries. The poor guy had about 7 or 8.
They should give him a special prize anyway for the walking wounded.
Yes. Well, I don't think he's been playing as though he's had any injury of any sort, mental, physical or anything else, but I just did notice when he scooped up that low forehand volley that the wincing perhaps was not disgust at his own shot, which was in, but possibly a pain in the arms. Who knows?
The fact remains, Bill, it was only a few days ago he was ill on court against Rosetsky.
Oh, yeah.
No question about that he was ill. He had a stomach virus. Says an awful lot to the medics.
Had to have the old intravenous stuff afterwards. And he had stomach flu, whatever that is, before the match. Oh, he did incredibly well to come through it. I didn't see how he played so well to do it.
He was giving his right thigh there a good old thumping, which suggests, and it wouldn't surprise anybody, that his leg's getting tired, but we hope it's not cramped. Don't want it to finish like that. So here we are. 3 hours and 18 minutes, an all-American final that perhaps didn't promise for the rest of the world so much. In fact, has proved wonderfully competitive, and much of the credit for that goes to Todd Martin here, who now, at 2-5, has to hold his serve, or for the third time in his life, he'll have been a beaten finalist in the Grand Slam final.